Okay. Looks like it's running. Just need to. There we go. All right, good. Mm. We'll give it a minute and then we'll just kick this off. Send this out. Brothers is getting on that Tazayak, boy. Demon. Big old demon, man. Rightfully so.
That's right.
Right. Kala Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Waharakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. I'm the brother Rakaya Kwam. I got the brother Dan Ratazar Marth with me.
Shalom.
And we're going to go into the golden generation. Because there's been, there's been a lot of talk about, that golden generation. You got Trump talking about bringing back that golden age. And the nostalgia that he's going back to is that time period, that golden generation post World War II, that when you really look at it, they received a great share of the blessing with the elites, greater than pretty much any other Edomite generation before that or after that. If you could pinpoint a generation of Edomites that were blessed and received that, American dream, you'd have to be looking at the golden generation. And so we're going to go into some scriptures. We're going to learn a little bit about the golden generation. And we're going to learn what Jake was doing during this time period. Because as, of course, we didn't receive the blessings that the golden generation received. Or should I say my parents, they didn't, or my grandparents, they didn't receive the blessings that the golden generation of Edomites received. And that's through the scriptures. That's that gulf that exists because we're under the curses. So our experience is complete oppression, which is going to be different to ultimately the experience of the Edomites. The Edomites are going to be blessed. They're going to have it better than us. And you see that. Okay. You got any opening statements or anything you wanted to kick off with before we go into them?
Yeah, and that's what the elder's saying was right. You have these Edomites that had, however many hundreds of years of a head start, right, and created policies to ensure that Jake didn't get access to certain things, and then now they've got the nerve, to basically say, that Jake is in a position that they're in because they're lazy, because that we're lazy or whatever, what have you. It's like, no, you had a head start, right, and still Jake has caught up to you. Is catching up to you,
Yeah, and now they're trying to scapegoat Jake for their problems. These younger generation of Edomites are trying to scapegoat Jake. The whole DEI fiasco. They're trying to make it look like the reason they ain't got a job is because all the jobs are being given to Jake, which is a lie. And if Jake has a good job, he don't deserve it because it's because of DEI, which is all lies. You know what I mean? This is all a way of scapegoating. This new generation of Edomites are looking for a scapegoat. So they're resentful against the boomers and they're scapegoating Jake and immigrants for the reason their own system is now turned against them.
That's it.
It's insane.
The apostles used to use the phrase "two-time losers."
Yeah, so they're bugging out, but it's because when you're wicked, when you're a demonic man, this is what's going to eventually happen. Everything's going to collapse on itself because you're a corrupt people and you didn't take hold of the principles. And that's the main thing that we're going to show is that Esau ultimately could never be blessed forever because Their blessings come through wickedness, right? And when you operate under the vibration of evil and wickedness, then any good you receive can only be temporary. It's shallow, it's corrupt. And that's why the children of these Edomites, they're suffering, right? If they had a righteous system, which is according to the scriptures, then generation after generation would automatically be blessed. You wouldn't have the younger generations pitted against the older generations. All right. And so this is what we always do. We try to bring it all back to the scriptures and show the difference. Okay. So let me get a quick precept here. Let me share my screen. Oh shit, I didn't even go open. And then we'll go into learning about this golden generation.
Okay.
There we are. Right, so we got the book of Psalms here, Psalms 75 and 6. It says, For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. All right, so ultimately it's the Most High that will take a nation and raise them up to the pinnacle of the world above other nations, and take another nation and bring them down to the bottom. And that's what happened. You know, Jake was brought low, right, below the nations, and Esau, Edom, was brought up. And that's always beginning with an elite. All peoples always have head families that are at the forefront of the enterprise. That's just how it is. Whether you want to look at Jake had noble families, families that were greater than others, that were at the forefront, nobles. Egypt, the Persians. It was never going to be a case where all of a particular nation would share equally in the wealth. That's almost impossible.
Yeah, there's always order.
There's always an order. All right, so the Edomites have their elites. They have their elite and noble families who are the spearhead, who are the ones that pushing this enterprise forward. All right, and then you got the common people, your regular, average Edomites that walk around, you know, but they're still part of that nation that's been put into supremacy. So even if you're a poor Edomite, you're still above Jake in this society. All right, but it's all automatically goes back to the Lord. All right, the Lord put Esau in the position that he's in. All right, it says, for in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poured out of the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out and drink them. All right, so the Lord will put hell on you. Now, what was it? Is it Isaiah 42, where it speaks about who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Can we get that up?
Yep, that's Isaiah 42 and 24. It says, who gave
yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you gotta and yours.
Yeah, I know. I just realized it.
Yeah, sorry. See if they can jump into it. Yeah, I'll start from on 22, Isaiah 42 and 22, and read through into it. It says, but this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore. Who among you?
Salakia, so that's basically the condition of our people, the Israelites. We're a people that have been robbed and spoiled. We've had our wealth and our labor stolen from us, right? We've been brought to nothing in this man's society. We've been spoiled and spoiled forevermore. That's why no matter what we do, if we build up wealth for ourselves, history tells you that Esau will just come and take it. He will find a way to take it, because that's a manifestation of the judgment of the Lord through Esau. Esau is an agent and a conduit of the curses the Lord placed upon us. A lot of the curses that we live through, the Lord put the spirit on Esau to put the mechanisms in place for these things to exist. He is an agent, or he is a curse. Esau himself is a manifestation of the curses, his rulership over us, because he means no good, right? His sole purpose is to spoil Jake, to rob Jake, to oppress Jake, to have Jake snared, right? All around us are traps on so many levels. Like I got a chat GPT that I asked chat GPT about, because one of the main avenues as a child growing up, right, as a Jake in America or in the UK or in the Caribbean, right, one of the main things that the media pushes into your brain is the way for you and your people to make it. There's 3 avenues. We all know what they are. Yeah, you could grab any youth off the street and ask them, what are the 3 ways you can make it? What are the 3 ways you and your family can make it? And they're going to tell you something to do with entertainment, i.e. being a rapper or a singer or of something of that nature. The second thing they're going to tell you is a sport. So it's whether it's going to be a basketball, right? Football, right? And the third thing they're going to tell you is to slang them rocks. Get out on them, the corner boys. This is a fact. This is what the media, this is the overarching poison that Esau, because Esau is the one that set that up. Esau is the one that pushed that poison in the minds of our people. Now, I went into Chat GPT. In fact, let me just share it. I'll show you real quick. This is curses. This is part of the curses, how Esau manifests the curses on our people, right? And I asked ChatGPT, is the wealth generated for so-called Black Americans from sports and entertainment industry significantly, does it significantly close the wealth gap with white America? So basically, is you see all these Negroes on the TV and they got diamond chains, and in your mind, you're thinking to yourself, wow, we made it, like we out here like that. No, it's all an illusion on purpose, by design. It's an illusion because Esau wants you to pursue that. They want you to see that and say, yeah, that's what I want to be, knowing that that's not going to achieve anything for your people. Because even the chat TP says no. And I'm gonna just get the summary, right?
That's it.
It goes, so while individual Black athletes, artists, and entertainers can achieve enormous personal wealth, their success is not sufficient to significantly reduce the overall racial wealth gap in the United States. The gap is driven by deep systemic disparities in asset ownership, capital access, and intergenerational transfers that go far beyond high salaries in any one industry.
That's it.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, go on now.
Yeah, I was going to say this, like when it comes to the sports and entertainment, right? He uses that and dangles that right in front of Jake to be like, yo, this is something that to put this image of that's old Jake, when it's like not the case whatsoever.
No, but that's part of the oppression. That whole image and that whole industry is actually a curse. It's a curse upon our people that we think that's the answer. Same thing with the whole drug industry. I asked ChatGPT about, well, since we've got all this illicit and illegal drugs, because that's a big part of Jake's mindset through the media, through the hip hop and all that. Jake think that's something that's good. A lot of Jake think that's good, right? Yeah, it's good for certain individuals, but when you break it down, it's a net negative to your community. So Jake is out here being promoted drugs and entertainment as being the way to save their lives, to better themselves. But when you really check it out, it's actually destroying them.
Exactly.
And that's why Esau allows it to be pushed. And that's why Esau will push these people in your face. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go on. Yeah, go back to that precept again. Let me just undo my thing.
Yep.
Yeah, go on.
So this is back in Isaiah 42:23 now. It says, who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not Yahweh, he against whom we have sinned? For they
Right,
will
that's
not
the key. One second, that's the key. So the key is that the Lord put us in the situation under this devil so he could perform his devilry, as a result of our transgression. Because we broke the covenant, now the curses came upon us. So Esau is a manifestation of that. And so through every era that we've been in under this man, the Esau has always manifested systems to keep us in our place, which is subservient and below. These are the facts. Meanwhile, they'll pretend like, oh no, but we tried to help them and we're giving them welfare. No, Esau's always working against us, not for us. The only one who's working for us now is really Yahweh Shai through this gospel. This gospel, the purpose of this gospel, Ephesians the 4th chapter, is to edify us, to build us up. Esau don't want to build us up. It doesn't benefit him for us to be built up and to be strong and to be a perfect people. He only seeks to what? Oppress and to break our people down. And that's why, go to World Star Hip Hop, that's how Esau wants Jake to be.
Yep.
You see?
Yeah. If I can grab this, Aquan, because when you said that, I thought this precept came to mind just a bit at the end, right? So Deuteronomy 28:68, and Jehovah shall bring thee again into Egypt with ships, by way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and they shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. When you look at this word buy, right, basically goes into redeem. Okay, no man shall redeem you. And when you look at the usages as well of this word, one of the precepts that come to mind is that also have that word is Deuteronomy 32:6. Do you thus require the Lord Yahweh, O foolish people and unwise? Is he not thy father that hath bought thee, right? Redeemed thee, right? And hath he not made thee and established thee? Basically going into the point that no man is going to come to our aid. There's nothing that because Esau also set up a whole load of people, right, that Jake look up to, and it's just like, no, those aren't people that are for our benefit, No,
and that's why they got Jake twisted up in this political system, and you got these right-wing idiots. They think the right wing is the way forward, and then you got these left-wing Democrat nuts that think the left. No, none of that ain't gonna work for our people, man, because we're here to be oppressed in this system, and that's what's gonna happen. Okay, but Esau, this is his time. Well, it's been his time. He's on his way out. All right, and so they've been having a good time. So without further ado, let me pull up this on the golden generation, man. Esau's blessing, the American dream. So I asked ChatGPT to break down the golden generation of boomers, the economic story in America. All right, so let's see, try and get through this. Is educational. So the golden generation of boomers were born 1946 to 1964. So that's like my grandparents' era. The baby boomers grew up in the single most economically favorable period in American history. Their prosperity wasn't accidental. It was created by a unique combination of historical timing, policy, global conditions, and demographics. And below is the breakdown. So post-World War II, America, the perfect economic storm in their favor. America became the world's factory. After World War II, Europe and Japan were destroyed. America's industrial base was untouched and booming, and the US controlled 50% of global manufacturing output, an unimaginable number today. This allowed high wages, lifetime employment, right? That whole idea of a job for life, that goes back to this era, right? Explosive middle class growth. So what that means is you had a whole bunch of these lower level Edomite wage slaves, right? That were given a bigger piece of the pie. This is really when the so-called middle class was created, because before that you had the robber barons, and then you had all the other Edomites. Now you're starting to have Edomites in the middle who are getting a bigger share of the wealth. They're receiving the American dream, so to speak. They're going from being working class serfs up to the next level. All right, and this is
Exactly.
all happening during that particular time period. It was easy to get a job. Edomites can just, roll out of bed and they can get a job, and they can get a job over Jake because they had priority. Because the unwritten rule was, you know who you got to put first.
Yep.
Now they're crying because they go to get a job and they're getting turned down and they're blaming Jake. But before, in their grandparents' generation, you rolled out of bed, threw a stone, and you got a job.
That's it.
And that job would afford you to buy your house, your woman's at home, hunky dory. You get the Labrador and all that good stuff. All right,
Can I grab this user one?
Yeah, go on.
It says Psalm 73. I'll read from 3. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They're not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men."
That golden generation had life on easy mode compared to how the generations are living now. They had it on easy mode, and it's that golden generation that became that great consumer. It's that golden generation that out of that came these people that can just fly around the world and have holidays all over the place, because they now had this is a new thing. The idea that at first, the whole thing about traveling the world, right? The only people that travel the world is either you was an economic immigrant, so you traveled once, like to America. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you had economic immigrants, so you were down bad. You were Edomite from England, and you're down bad. And man said, "Yo, hear ye, come to America." You know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Yeah. You down bad, so you say, "Oh boy," like they say, and you went into debt to do that. So the man's going into debt in the hope that when you get to America, you could pay off the debt and get yourself some land and all that good stuff, right? So you had those people, but you had to be in the elite to just be traveling for the sake of traveling. Like these guys that's going to Egypt, Lord Shittlewitz is going to Egypt to dig up some tomb somewhere. Listen, bro, you got to have money to be even thinking about, I'm going to go on an expedition. Expo, what? What do you mean expedition? Everyone else just had to work to put bread and soup on the table. So now you're getting into a situation where you're having this is the first time in history where you're starting to have a group of people within society that wasn't the elites, that had extra money in their pocket to buy luxury goods, to go on to travel to Africa, to travel to, and this is where this whole tourism industry comes from. And even to this day, the tourism industry is dominated by boomers.
Yes, yeah.
These are fact. Old fat Americans, man, just traveling all over the place. And you meet them, you go on holiday, and hi, I'm from America. Yeah, we've been to Rome. It was nice there in Rome, and they're gonna tell you all these places they've been. These are boomers. You go on these luxury cruises. Who you think's on them luxury cruises? Boomers. All that sweet retirement money that they got, guaranteed retirement money and funds. They got the money. Okay. Government policy directly built the middle class. The GI Bill returned veterans, which, as we're gonna go into, Jake never got this. Returned veterans got near free college, when college was worth something, nearly guaranteed low interest home loans, business loans. This produced massive upward mobility and a surge in skilled workers, widespread home ownership, which is the key. Union power in the 1950s, 35% of workers were unionized versus 6% today. Unions forced companies to share profits with workers. The result, high wages plus pensions plus job security, something you don't have now. Blue collar jobs that paid middle class lifestyles. Yeah, so my man's just working some grunt job and they're living good. Just like here in the UK, man could be a cab driver, and it's them cab drivers them cab drivers have got money now. With these black cab drivers, and these men are living in Chigwell.
Yeah.
They bought their house when it was like 50 grand. Now their house is worth like 800 grand to $1 million.
Yeah. And even on that one, Zaquan, it's like the cab drivers, they've got preferential treatment and laws, the black cab drivers over like your regular mini cab drivers. Whereas the black cab drivers is majority so-called white people, whereas like your mini cabs, your Uber drivers or whatever are mostly immigrants,
Yep.
right? But it's like you know, they can drive, black cabs can drive in bus lanes. They can basically, you know, all of the low traffic neighborhoods they're bringing in, they can drive in them, but the Uber drivers can't, you know?
And the black cab drivers are middle class now.
Yes.
You know. Anyway, the one income family model, so they were able to have that a better life. You know, you got the woman in the household, the whole family structure was ultimately better. Yeah.
Yeah.
The birth of suburbia and cheap home ownership, right? Boomers benefited from 10,000 to 20K homes, the equivalent to 120K today. 3% mortgage rates, federal subsidies for suburban construction and highways. For boomers, buying a home was no harder than buying a car, right? This is way different to the landscape of America today that the Edomite, that is the generation of the Edomite today, have to grow up in. It's this night and day. This is hell for them now.
Yep. And it's the
Yeah,
same here as well.
The same
You
here
know,
in the UK. It's the same. And this is why you're having Trump trying to sell this, oh, we're going to go back to that. No, you ain't going back to that. That was it. That was that era was what the Lord gave Esau in terms of the majority of Edomites. That was what the Lord gave you. That was your blessing. But because of your own evil, you didn't allow that blessing to go on to your children. Whose fault is that? Right? The era of cheap everything, the boomer economic world from 1950s to the 1970s, which the elders always go into, the Esau began to go down in the 70s. And that's when this truth started coming out. So it all lines up. The beginning of the end. That's the boomer economic world, 1950s to 1970s, had cheap housing, cheap healthcare, cheap college tuition, cheap domestic goods, and cheap energy. Right? Isn't this what Trump's saying he's trying to bring back? This is what Trump is trying to promise people today. But they already had it back then in the 1950s to the 1970s. And he came out the other day and he was like, yeah, everything's cheap now. There's no inflation. He's just going to gaslight the hell out of people. That ain't coming back, man. This is the period where college tuition cost a few $100s per semester. A single salary could buy a house, a car, and raise a family. Medical debt was almost non-existent.
Yeah. Because and once again on the buying the house thing, remember I did the thought experiment, right? Which is like for London, if you had 100 grand in cash for a deposit, 100 grand as a salary, right? You still couldn't buy the average house in London. You know, that's how far the other side, you know, for instance, the economy here has gone. You know, I know in America it'd be hell as well.
Yeah, Khan. I was just gonna get a scripture real quick. Yo, these Edomites were having it good, boy. They were living in heaven. Hold on, I want to just get this preset real quick. 1 second. These Edomites, boy. But that time is up. Where's one I'm looking for?
What did it say?
I wanted the one where I think it actually might be in 73 where you was.
Yeah. I stand with fatness and all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's read that again, man. That's that blessing, man. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, man, and they had a good run. It was a little run. The triumphing of the wicked is short, but it was a good run.
That's right.
That was that golden generation. You know, like Israel, we had a little golden generation. You know, Solomon's days. That was our golden generation. Yeah, Esau had his. The Lord blessed him. Now it's over.
Okay. Want me to jump Psalm 73?
Yeah.
Yep. So Psalm 73 from verse 5 again, it says, "They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression, they speak loftily. They set their mouth."
That's these devils, right? These were oppressors. These were evil people, right? Because in the meantime, all of this was happening. They were oppressing the world. They were oppressing Jake, right? And they were oppressing the world. They were corrupt, and that the seed of that corruption sowed itself into their generations that came after them. Right? The sexual revolution, they're the ones that was onto that. All this degradation that we see in society came from the boomers on down. They got the best of America, but they also created the worst of America.
That's it.
It's crazy. Go on up.
That's it. Can I, because you quoted it before. This is I'll just carry on. Right. So it's back in Psalm 73 and 9. It says, "They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth." Verse 10 says, "Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, How doth the Most High know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches."
That's right. These people were ungodly, man. They weren't no good, righteous people. And this is why the generations after them are going to suffer. Because what they achieved and what they received wasn't based upon righteousness. It wasn't based upon that they were keeping the law, statutes, commandments of their Heavenly Father, and they were being blessed in righteousness. They were wicked as hell. So that this blessing that they receive ultimately is a curse because it's corrupt. And it's falling back on them, and they don't understand it. This is why all these generations now, they're crying, "Oh, but why?" Well, you need to understand that your forefathers are wicked. And so wickedness cannot last. The joy that the Bible tells you, the triumphing of the wicked is short.
That's right.
This is what the scriptures tell you. And your forefathers were wicked. The boomer generation were wicked. The generation before, they were all wicked. And yes, you reaped some benefits to that wickedness, but it was never going to last. Okay?
Yep. I've got a preset just for you real quick.
Yeah.
This is Sirach 10 and 8. "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another."
There you go. And this place is on its way out, man. The water Yahweh Shemel Shai, man, they're cooked. Right. So it says stable jobs and guaranteed retirement. All right. It says boomers were the beneficiaries of defined benefit pensions, meaning guaranteed income for life. Strong job security, long-term corporate loyalty, and predictable wage growth. Companies invested in workers because labor was scarce, globalization hadn't arrived yet, and outsourcing was minimal. Because it wasn't long after when these same boomers decided to outsource all of the jobs to the rest of the world, and we are where we are now, right? Deregulation, globalization, and asset inflation. Globalization starting in the 1980s, factories moved overseas, wages stagnated for younger workers, consumer goods became cheaper. Now, who moved the factories overseas? Exactly. Was it China? Did China put a gun to these Edomites in America's head and move the factories over there? Because that's how Trump is going on. Trump is going on like the rest of the world has been robbing America. How are they robbing America? Them men have been working for wages that's the equivalent to what you make in a year. What you make in a flipping, what they make in like a day takes you like a 10 minutes to make. Like they're not earning nothing over there.
That's it.
They've been slaving. The rest of the world have really been slaving to subsidize the life that these Americans have been living, the consumerism. And off the back of that, the elites have been getting rich. It wasn't China that robbed America. Edomites robbed America.
Exactly.
All right. Factories moved over.
So I was to say, is it all right if I grab some information for you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So what do you call it? It's just in AI mode. Says which president started business with China? right? So while several US presidents played critical roles in establishing and expanding business ties with the People's Republic of China, it was Richard Nixon is often most credited with initiating the modern economic and diplomatic relation, right? And it was in Richard Nixon, the initiator referred to as in 1972, right? It says President Nixon's visit in 1972, often called the week that changed the world, right, ended more than 2 decades of diplomatic isolation and economic embargo between the two nations, right? Because it was basically Nixon that went over there to basically open up for China as the sweatshop of America, right? And that 1970s period, once again, when you read the precepts, is a very pivotal time in prophecy, right? That whole period between 1970, the start of the end of basically America, basically, you know.
Yep, yep. And that's because the elites that run America don't really care about their own people. They don't love their neighbor as their self. They don't love their brother. And they still don't. These men are under the illusion that they're elites like Trump and that care about them. And that's going to be their downfall. Esau does not have brotherly love.
That's it.
He's corrupt at heart. And this is the core of it. If you don't establish the righteousness of the Heavenly Father and the principles of the Lord, you are going to destroy yourself. It's just the natural process. Because you don't love your brother. So eventually, when you finish oppressing everyone else, you're going to oppress your own brother. And that's what we're seeing. Right. So wages stagnated for younger workers, consumer goods became cheaper, but boomers already owned houses, had secure jobs, and had pensions. All right. So the boomers were certified.
Yeah. And then if the goods have become cheaper, but they already have money, that means they were able to just get fatter and fatter.
Exactly. It says asset boom, stocks plus real estate. 980 to 2020 saw massive stock market growth, massive real estate inflation, which only 10% of America owns stocks, falling interest rates that increased asset values. Boomers held the majority of these assets. Their net worth skyrocketed, not because of wages, but because of asset appreciation. Policy shifts that benefit boomers at the expense of the young. Yeah? From the 1980s onward, taxes on wealth fell, capital gains tax fell, unions collapsed, pensions disappeared, housing regulations tightened, reducing supply and raising prices. And all of this benefited the boomers because they already had their house and they turned houses into investments instead of being somewhere for people to live. Right? But houses are not supposed to be investments, man. Houses are supposed to be where you live, man. When you turn houses into investments, now it's in their interest to just keep putting the value of the house up.
That's it.
Well, that doesn't help you getting on that ladder, does it? It says boomers gained from rising home prices, equity markets, tax policy that favored older wealth holders. Younger generations inherited wage stagnation, student debt, unaffordable housing, and retirement insecurity. So this is Esau's society. So Esau's society had one shot, man. It burst the whole load in one go, boom, and then nothing for no one else.
Good.
But these are superior people, though.
Good. High IQ.
High IQ people, because they're just wicked. This is the demographic advantage, the biggest generation in history. The boomers were many in number, politically influential, and economically dominant. Their size ensured political prioritization, strong social programs for their age bracket, and tax system favoring retirees.
That's it.
Longevity and health. Yeah, go on.
It says Proverbs 13 and 22, just on the previous point he was reading, it says, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
These men don't care about the generations after them. Selfishness, and that is the core of wickedness is selfishness. They don't care. Like they always bring out this article. Did I get rid of it? The network of care. Which in the article, let me read this real quick. The biblical principles. There we are. There we are. Was this the one? Where is it? Network of care. I'll see if I can. Oh, it's Chronicle. Where the hell is the video? Jewish. I'm gonna have to find it. I don't know where it is. Anyway, there was a where is it? The Jewish life in ancient Israel. Nah, I can't find it. I gotta look up for it again. It was a chronicle, but basically they explained that we had something called a network of care, meaning as an Israelite, your mindset was towards your responsibility to your ancestors, your responsibility towards your brother, which was around you at the time, and also your responsibility towards your posterity, meaning your children. Your actions are guided by a care about what was before you, what is present, and what is to come after you. In this society, people's mindsets are really about themselves. Me, now, and they will sacrifice the legacy of their parents and for themselves. They will sacrifice the posterity of their children for themselves. They don't think about the future or their generations after them. They're about self. This is why their society has been built the way it's been built. This is why it is the way. This is why you got all these generations that came after the boomers are suffering, because the boomers didn't care about them. As long as they can go on their cruises, it's all good, right? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And that's caused resentment among the generations. All you got to do is go online. You got all these new generations cursing out the boomers. It's not supposed to be like that. All right? Yeah, 2 Timothy 3:2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy. That is the spirit of this society. And it's ingrained into their system, because any system you create is going to be an embodiment of your spirit, of what is within you. That's why we always say, don't expect a righteous system to come from Esau, because inside he's not righteous. So whatever name he puts on a system, whether he calls it socialism, capitalism, Batimanism, it doesn't matter what ism it is. He could call it righteous-ism. It doesn't matter, because the heart of which is within him is not right. It's only going to have one result, and we're seeing it. What is the result of America? Corruption, collapse, degradation. You really only had one generation, and that was it. All right, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. These men fell in love with consumerism and money and wealth and what they could do with it. And we're seeing the fruits of that. All right. Okay, let's try and get through this. Okay, so longevity and healthcare progress. Boomers also benefited from dramatic advances in healthcare, Social Security plus Medicare, longer lifespans than any previous generations. Right? The bottom line, why boomers had it so good. Unique advantages boomers had. Cheapest housing in modern history, free or extremely cheap college, strong unions and stable careers, high wages relative to cost of living, pensions and job security, a booming American industrial monopoly, asset inflation during their peak earning years, extremely low competition from foreign labor early in life, and government support programs designed to build the middle class. In short, the boomers entered an economy where everything fundamental to wealth building was cheap, and everything that generates passive wealth exploded in value later in life. No other generation in US history has experienced this combination. So this was it.
But
All right,
it's over.
that was it. That was it, man. And you know, congratulations, and you know, you can look forward to slavery now. That was it. That was all you Edomites had. That was it. You know, well done. All right. All right.
That's it.
Now,
I've got one real quick.
Yeah, go on.
Because you said, you know, they have their run and then, you know, get ready for slavery, right? So Sirach 11:25, in the day of prosperity, there is forgetfulness of affliction, and the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity. So these Edomites ain't gonna remember any of this stuff, man. When they're getting their ass handed to them, man.
Yeah. All right. Now, what about Jake? You might ask yourself, well, what was happening to Jake during this period? Why didn't Jake receive this? Well, Deuteronomy 28 tells you why. All right. We are under the curses, man. We're not on the same spiritual playing field as Esau is. And this is why it's important to know who we are in terms of the scriptures, because you don't get caught up in illusions. As a Jake, you should not be caught up in the American dream. The American dream was never for you. The American dream was for Esau, and only one generation of Edomites actually received it, which is crazy. Right? Deuteronomy 20. So if Esau only really even gave one generation of his people the American dream, then what about you? Jake don't have a golden generation. Deuteronomy 20:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which are commanded this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? Now let's jump down because there's so many curses. It's crazy. All right. Deuteronomy 20:45. Moreover, actually, 1 second. I forgot. I need to do something. 1 second. All right, let's go. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee. Right? So you try to outrun these curses. You try your best to get around these curses. They're gonna chase you down. Black Wall Street, you know, Jake tried over the years to establish themselves, to build themselves up in America, and they tried to outrun these curses, and the curses ran their ass down. This is just the reality. All right. They shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So this curse gets passed down from generation to generation. We were under it. Our father was under it. Our grandfather, his father. All our fathers in this society have been under this curse, man. And every generation has strived and worked hard and tried to do this and tried to do that. What we still end up in the same place socio-economically in Esau's system, which is at the bottom. Struggling.
Got a precept for you as well.
Can't.
Haggai 1:6. You have so much and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but you are not filled with drink. You clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag of holes.
Yeah, where's the Motown? You had Motor City, right? Chicago. You had Jakes that got some paper out of that, but then look at Chicago now. So, right, it says, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, wage slaves, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things. Right? That's why we don't own and control a single industry in America or in the world. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. All right. So if we look at Jake, right? I asked it to say, because they're saying there's a wealth transfer that's gonna happen from the boomers, blah 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 blah, and so we want to look at like, well, what was happening? So it says what follows explains why the great wealth transfer will disproportionately benefit Edomite Americans, specifically because of policies and discrimination that operated during the boomer era, and not because of individual merit or behavior. It says wealth is cumulative. If one group was systemically allowed to buy homes, access education, and accumulate assets, while another was blocked or excluded, the advantage compounds across generations. All right. So Esau always wants to look at everything in isolation. They don't want you to look at, well, what led to this? Like they want to go into the ghetto, and yeah, you got some real low level degraded Jakes that exist deep in the dark regions of the ghetto. That's true. Some illiterate like demons, but these people are a product. They didn't just appear out of nowhere. They didn't just appear in a vacuum like poof. That's why the scripture goes back into Habakkuk, the second chapter. It says, "Woe unto him that giveth unto his neighbor strong drink." Esau wants to pretend that these people are not a product of trauma and oppression, generational trauma and oppression. Some of these men are like the product of crack families. Well, how did that happen? Do you know what I'm saying? Like Esau will want to pretend that it's just, they're just low IQ. They just like that because they're, they got melanin or something. No, it's because you're the devil and you have a hand in the destruction of Jake and their degradation. But Esau want to act like it ain't got nothing to do with me. No, it's got a lot to do with you, and that's why you got a lot to pay for. We have accountability too. That's why we have to repent. But you have accountability as well. All right. It says home ownership was the primary wealth engine, and it was racially restricted. Redlining in the 1930s to 1970s, federal agencies graded neighborhoods by risk. So-called black and mixed neighborhoods were marked in red. Mortgages denied. Banks legally refused loans in these areas, right? So this affected how Jake could build wealth. Impact. Edomite families received federally backed low-interest mortgages. Black families were forced to rent or buy via predatory contracts. Predatory, right? What do we read in Isaiah 42? That Jake would be for a prey, right? It says home appreciation, the largest source of middle-class wealth, was unequally distributed. Even after redlining was outlawed in 1968, its effects persisted through segregated neighborhoods, depressed property values, and a lack of reinvestment. Suburbanization was explicitly Edomite. Post-war suburbs barred non-white buyers. FHA loans required racial homogeneity. Zoning laws enforced de facto segregation. Boomer Edomite families moved into suburbs. Black families were largely excluded. These suburban homes later became six-figure or seven-figure assets, collateral for business loans and inheritance vehicles. You see?
That's it. And Jake didn't have any of that, man. No access to that. Right? Yeah. Jake couldn't buy those houses because even at the same time, we weren't earning the same.
Yeah, but
Jake was getting
bro,
paid.
Jake had welfare, bro. They had they had Section 8 and EBT. So you know what I'm saying? Esau's the devil, man. Esau is the devil. It says the GI Bill was unequally applied. On paper, the GI Bill was race neutral. In practice, it was administered locally, often by segregationist officials. Outcomes: white veterans got college admissions, trade school training, home loans. Black veterans were denied college access, blocked from FHA loans, and funneled into low-pay jobs. The result: white boomers entered adulthood with education plus property. Black boomers often could not. Education funding was segregated by design. Public schools were funded by local property taxes. Redline neighborhoods had lower property values, underfunded schools. College access depended on earlier educational quality. This meant white boomers disproportionately entered high-earning professions. Black boomers were overrepresented in lower pay, unstable work. Now, they tried to say that they wanted to fix this with DEI, which DEI didn't fix this. I might have to do a whole video just on the DEI. DEI is one of the biggest like illusions there's ever been.
Yeah.
Like DEI did not fix this. DEI did not all of a sudden overturn the fact that the workplace is dominated by Edomites. These companies had to do something like they had a target of like 2% of the workforce. 2%. Go look it up. And remember that DEI isn't just so-called black people. DEI is white veterans. DEI is disabled white people. DEI is white women. The way if you let these Edomites tell the story, what they would want you to believe is through DEI, no white people would ever get hired, and everyone for every job was just black people.
Exactly.
That's what they want you to believe. Like DEI came in, and let's say you never had no qualifications, you could just walk into a hospital and become a doctor because you're black. This is what this is the insanity they want you to believe. That you could just be black, right, and walk into a hospital and, oh, DEI, yeah, here. Like you got a flipping certificate that you printed off at home for yourself, and they'll just give you a job because of DEI. That's a lie. DEI does not mean that a company was hiring unqualified people. But exactly. The devil, you know.
Yeah, this one, this is one of those funnels that creates this education funding, right? And how it works. Remember that, for instance, there was that Israelite one, that Jake. She basically put her child into a different school district, and she ended up going to jail for that, right? Because it's especially, I don't know how it is right now at this point in time, but like in the States, a degree, to a point was like, if you didn't have a degree, you couldn't get into certain jobs and stuff like that. So then they were basically creating a funnel which basically limited the jobs that Jake could do, right? And especially post that boomer generation, you had a degree was basically access to higher pay. So now if Jake ain't got quote unquote good schools in their neighborhoods, then they can't get access to the good, decent college or university or whatever. That basically was saying from a young age, their earning potential was capped.
Yep. Meanwhile, these Edomites can buy their way into these Ivy League schools and buy their grades, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But DEI, right? But these men have been what they call it, donating to the foundation and getting their kids into school for years. This is a joke. It's a joke.
There was that whole scandal with them celebrities, and then that was only what they brought out, where the celebrity was basically just buying access to certain of these universities in America.
100%. All right. So it says here, this meant white boomers disproportionately entered high-earning professions, where black boomers were overrepresented in low-pay, unstable work. So at the same time, you're having this golden generation, right? This golden age in America. It wasn't a golden age for Jake. This is why when they're talking about making America great again, America was never great for Jake. America was never great for Jake. It was always against Jake because it's supposed to be, right? Deuteronomy 28, 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only oppressed, shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save you. This system has always been a system of oppression, period. Even during the golden age, Jake didn't get a fair shake of that. Right? We ain't even going to talk about the crack era. Right? Employment discrimination, limited earnings and pensions. Until the late 1960s and 1970s, hiring discrimination was legal and unenforced. Unions often excluded black workers. High-paid manufacturing jobs went to white workers first. But these men are crying about DEI. This is crazy. Result, white boomers accumulated pensions, seniority, and stable careers. Black workers faced layoffs, exclusion from benefits, and weaker retirement security. Right? This criminal legal system extracted wealth. From the 1970s onward, war on drugs disproportionately targeted black communities. Incarceration reduced lifetime earnings, home ownership, and family stability. Mass incarceration functioned as a wealth suppression mechanism. White families were largely insulated from this effect. Because if we want to talk about drugs, everybody knows Edomites love drugs. They love every type of drugs. Jake, listen, everybody knows Edomites be taking drugs you don't know how to pronounce, man. Esau be taking drugs, all kind of pills, red and purple, all kind of pills Esau's into. Esau love him some drugs, man. This is a fact. You go to any Edomite festival, there's nothing but drugs all over the place. But there won't be no policing.
Yeah. It's I forgot. I was speaking to someone I used to work with that used to go to these festivals, and they're basically saying how like they were actually drug testing like machines to basically test whether you've got good good quality drugs, basically, because they so much crap was in the area, man.
Yo, hold on. Are we got a is that a cave organism in the comment board? John Buffalo, is that a cave organism? I don't know.
It sounds, yes, you Caribbeans have never achieved anything due to your mindset, and as the elder goes into several times. Oh, okay, it looks like it's
what are you
gone,
talking
maybe.
about mindset? Caribbeans, bro. Caribbeans work hard, bro.
Work hard.
You can't tell me about Caribbeans and work, bro. Man known for, bro. Don't tell me about my dad's generation and that. Them man do nothing but bust sweat. Get out of here. Cave organism.
That's
all right.
it. And
If anyone destroyed Jake's mindset, it was you.
Yeah.
Constantly putting Jake down about it. So why was Britain begging man to come to the UK to build back up the UK since man's mindset ain't right? How about you go suck your mother? You do that.
Yeah, for real.
How about you go do that, man, and come off the comment board?
Yeah, I was gonna say, ironically, it's what he's referring to is going exactly into what we were talking about in terms of like, yeah, okay, you send your schools to your children to a private school in Esher, your grandchildren to a private school in Esher, but I can tell you, them private schools be expensive as hell. Yep. You know, they be expensive as hell. You're talking, what'd you call it? I mean, I'm just looking here at one of these schools, like termly $390 for lunch alone. You know, would you call it termly? This one, sixth form, £9,000. Year 7 to 8, £8,000 for a term. There are 3 terms in a year. Jake can't afford that.
You right? But those
exactly. Those are that's the funding and the lifestyle you can provide your children when your grandparents had wealth. This is it. When you see a lot of these Edomites that are buying houses, what do they call it? It's like help from mom and dad, right? It's a whole thing.
The bank of mom and dad.
Bank of mom, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, man, get the hell out of here, you little cave dweller. You Edomites are through. You know what I mean? Like Edomites are always coming around trying to put people down, man. But then you're the ones complaining online now. DEI, I handed my CV in and they gave a job to a black woman. Fuck out of here, man. Bitch ass Edomites, man.
That's it.
Anyway, asset appreciation magnified the gap. The immigrants. The key is timing. I mean, bro, these Edomites are always trying to blame someone else here, but then try and put someone else down. Get your argument correct. We're taking all the jobs, but then we're also on all the welfare. Which one is it?
Yeah. There's a term for that, man. I call it Schrodinger's welfare or something like that, because it's like it can't be both.
Can't be both. These guys are idiots, man. Get the hell out of here, man. You devils are cooked, man. You devils are cooked. Anyway, asset appreciation magnified the gap. The key is timing. White boomers were more likely to own homes before price explosions, invest in stocks early, receive inheritances themselves. Black families entered asset markets later, brought into higher prices. So you were the liquidity, had fewer assets to pass on. Even equal appreciation widens absolute gaps when starting wealth is unequal.
Exactly.
Inheritance multiplies inequality. Inheritance is not just cash; it includes homes, blah blah blah, college tuition, as you were saying, down payments for gifts, business ownership, financial knowledge, and networks. White millennials are far more likely to receive family help, far less likely to carry student debt alone, and even they're hurt. So if they're hurt, then what's Jake? But Jake just been getting on with it. All right.
Yeah, because then even on.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, even on that, when you look at, like, if you go university and then you're one of these E's that your parents are able to afford to pay for you to go to university, right? That means you're starting the workplace from a position of you're not having to pay back any student debt, right? So what you're earning is just pure earning potential, whereas once again, Jake didn't have that,
That's right. Yeah, there's been a massive difference between Jake and Esau, right? And now they want to make it about scientific racism. They want to blame IQ. It's not IQ. It's you. It's you devils. And that's why you got a lot to pay for. You Edomites you Edomites are gonna pay 100% because you violated. They're trying to gaslight it to make it look like the problem's just been us. No, you are a big part of the problem. You're a big part, but here it is. The Edomites are now complaining about their own system. So then why couldn't we complain about your system? When it comes to Jake, it's all Jake's fault. But when the Edomites are failing, it's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
You make it make sense.
Yeah. It's like the whole thing on drugs. When it was Jake, it was just say no. But now it's Edomites primarily being affected. Now it's a health crisis. Now we've got to help these people,
Yeah. Right, let me read this real quick, and then we're going to look at the biblical principles and get out of here. So the rich man and Lazarus, and we're going to get straight to the point, man. Luke 16:25 says, but Abraham said, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things. And that's these Edomites. They've received the advantages in their own kingdom. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, Esau has been blessed in this world, and likewise Lazarus evil things. Yeah, that's Jake. Lazarus represents Jake. We've always been receiving the evil. We've always received the negative. We got the worst PR ever. Our people got the worst PR. Esau's got the best PR. Esau can do the least and get the most. Right?
Gets the benefit of the doubt.
Gets the benefit of the doubt. They get to gaslight everyone all day. Right? They get to be low IQ and high IQ at the same time. I don't understand it. Dude could have 3 teeth and barely speak English and he high IQ. I don't understand. Esau can have an accent that you can't understand and it's okay. Jake have an accent you can't understand and we're low IQ and uneducated.
Yeah. These times, person with that accent, from whether it's West Coast or whatever, speaks 2 or 3 languages.
Yeah, that don't matter though, is it? What the hell with Esau, man? All right. It says, likewise, Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted and thou art tormented, because it's gonna flip. You see, the spirit is gonna flip where we're gonna be blessed. All right, and our blessings is superior to your blessings, because our blessings are going to be in righteousness, right? And you are going to be cursed in our kingdom, right? And thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot. See, even if we wanted to be Edomites and have the same as the Edomites, we can't, because it's a spiritual thing. We just read it, that these curses pass from seed to seed. Like you got Jake's, like the idea of Jake is like, if you deal with an Edomite woman, right, your children become lighter, and so they could get the blessings of Edomites. No, you still get the curses.
That's it.
And that's a known fact statistically, right? The children of Jake and white women are not socio-economically better off than anyone than anyone else. Because the curses ain't about what you look like. The curses are the curses. There's nothing you could do. You could talk like Esau, walk like Esau. You could do your best impression of being an Edomite and please them. The curses are still going to fall on you because it's a spiritual gulf. There's the Lord has said, okay, this seed of the people are going to be cursed, and these ones for now are going to be blessed. And so the same thing in the kingdom. Like if they even if you wanted to be a Jake, you're not going to be blessed like Jake. You're going to get judged. You got Edomites that look like Jake. You're cooked anyway. The tares are still cooked. Right? Between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. And you can see that when you look at the boomer generation. We just read it. Like it didn't hit Jake the same way it hit Esau. And that's because of this great gulf that's fixed. And it's not that Jake didn't try and get across that gulf. But you can't. So that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. So our destinies are separated. And it's locked in. You Edomites are destined for doom. Are you not rightly named Idumea? You Edomites are destined for doom, and ain't nothing you could do about that. And understand that you've had the best of times already. They don't get no better from here. You've already had the what you're gonna get. That golden age already occurred, and Elon Musk ain't gonna bring it back for you. All right,
that's right.
So let me read this, right? Because this goes back to the core thing. Because we uplift the scriptures, man, and this is the core of the reason why you Edomites are failing. Your arrogance, because you believe in your arrogance that you can basically go around the Most High and do things your own way and establish your own blessing. And that's your arrogance and that's your downfall. And the Lord set you up and deceived you to make you to believe that you can make it work for yourself. No, there's only one way to make it work. The Lord gave it to us, and we're going to establish it through the new covenant in the kingdom. And it's going to be a perfect system because we're humble. We're humbling ourselves to the will and the word and the wisdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and not trying to invent things. Right?
That's why.
So go on.
It's like if I can grab this for you real quick. We was talking about how he's trying to circumvent. He's going, doing all these other things, right? Consulting with these different enchantments and stuff. So Isaiah 47:12. To stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Right? So this Edomites going into all of these different enchantments and these sorceries, trying to circumvent the ridden path, which the ridden path, it's we read in Genesis 27, right, that the blessing wasn't given to you, right? And you begged and you begged and you begged, but guess what? Right now you're living part of it. You've got the fatness of the earth for the time being, but ultimately it still says that that I have made them thy Lord, i.e. Jacob, right? We're ultimately going to be lords over you. And there's nothing, no sorceries, no nothing that you can, do to circumvent that.
Yep. And your thing was fake, man. It was Temu. It was your thing was fake, man. Your kingdom, when man look back at it in history, gonna be like, yeah, that thing was not really it. Your thing was so fake. You had one good generation, and then all the generation after that hate them. That's crazy. Anyway, I asked ChatGPT, how does the biblical system of economic laws, right, maintain wealth from generation to generation, in contrast to the modern day American system, which has enriched the golden generation at the expense of succeeding generations, i.e. the millennials? Right? It says this is a rich comparison because the biblical economic vision and the modern American system are built on very different moral assumptions. Yeah. The America is not built on the principles of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. They run around here talking about they're Christians and there's a Christian country and we're going to bring God back. There's nothing godly about America. America is ungodly at the root, at the core of it. They give lip service to God. But in terms of the core of what they represent, it's demonic, it's satanic. They steal, they lie, they deceive, they defraud. All right. It says it's built on different moral assumptions about wealth, time, and responsibility across generations. All right. It says the core assumption: who owns wealth? In the biblical system, God owns the land and wealth, and humans are stewards. That's humility.
That's
What
right.
does the scripture say? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Esau believes the earth belongs to him and him alone, and there is no one above him. This is the core difference in the way they operate. So they have no responsibility towards the Most High in the way of what the Most High says and how you are to operate in the earth, because they have removed the Most High as being anything to them in anything other than a lip service. Esau believes he is God. He is the God of the land. He owns the world, and he is going to decide who gets what and who don't get what. Deuteronomy 32:28 tells you clearly that the Lord is the one that gave all the nations their inheritances.
That's right. Yeah.
Esau said that you will own nothing and be happy. Who the hell are you to tell people they should own nothing? You're a thief. The earth isn't yours to decide who gets what. Deuteronomy 32:8, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. But the Lord gave even the other nations, the heathens, the Lord gave them a place to have as their own. And the Lord told us, remove not their neighbor's landmark. And that applies even to the heathen. When we came out of Egypt and we were going through the lands of the other nations, the Lord said, don't take nothing from them. That land I've given unto them. I have a land for you. Esau's thing is everything belongs to him. So man will go Venezuela and just teeth up the oil, and all these good Christians are all clapping. Hold on, that's not yours, brother. Go on now.
Because I had had the one that you was referencing. I've got another one as well. This is Deuteronomy 19:14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of all time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Yahweh shall give thee to possess it. And also you got Deuteronomy 27:17. Similarly, cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, the people shall say among. And then I've got another one in Micah 2, right? I'll read verse 1 and 2. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil on the beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
And that is ultimately the American dream. That is the way of America. Who can own the most and be a lord over the people? That's not biblical. To take people's lands and shit, like it's just ridiculous. Not even make a man pay a tax. You just trying to take their land. It's crazy. It said God owns the land and wealth. Humans are stewards. The land must not be sold permanently because the land is mine and you are but aliens and my tenants. Leviticus 25:23. This single idea drives everything. Wealth is temporary. No generation has the moral right to permanently dispossess the next. Economic power must be cycled, not accumulated indefinitely. And that's what Esau wants. Esau wants a few people accumulating until they own everything. That's the way of the world, and that's what we've seen happen. That the elites are owning more and more and more to the point where they're taking what the middle class have now. Right? Modern American system, individuals and corporations own assets absolutely. Property rights are permanent. Wealth can compound indefinitely. No built-in obligation to future generations. Markets are morally neutral by design. The result, those who enter early, the boomers or golden generation, benefit disproportionately from compounding asset inflation and policy capture. Land and capital, preventing permanent inequality. The biblical mechanism, the Jubilee, Leviticus 25, every 50 years, land returned to original families. debt forgiven, and indentured servants freed, which is why they never gave Jake the 40 acres and the mule, because they understood that land is a basis to build yourself up. That's why they never gave it to Jake. Effect prevents generational poverty, prevents dynastic monopolies, and resets structural inequality without violence. Importantly, you could lease land but never permanently sell it. Price of land was adjusted based on years remaining until the Jubilee. The wealth differences existed, but they could not harden into permanent class structures. Modern America's reality: land and capital can be owned forever. Houses and asset prices inflate faster than wages. Early generations bought assets cheap, later generations rent from them. Oppression. The effect: millennials pay inflated prices to access assets boomers already own. Wealth flows upward via rent, interest, and asset appreciation. No systemic reset exists. Debt, a tool versus a trap. Biblical debt laws: debt was time limited. Interest to fellow Israelites were restricted or forbidden. Debts were forgiven at sabbatical years every 7 years. At the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. The effect: debt could not enslave families for generations. Credit existed to restore productivity, not extract wealth. Lenders bore risk, not just the borrowers. The modern American debt system: student loans are often non-dischargeable, mortgages extend to 30 years plus, interest compounds continuously, and financial institutions are protected by law. The effect: the younger generation start adult life already behind. Debt replaces ownership. Future labor is pre-sold to service past wealth. Millennials are not lazy, they are structurally leveraged. Inheritance, preserving family. Why ain't Trump bringing all this out? I thought he was a savior, the Messiah. I thought he's got a direct link with the Most High. How come he ain't coming out and saying, well, we need to shift everything back to a biblical framing of the economy? No, because these people are all devils.
Can I grab this for you real quick?
Yeah, go on.
So I asked the robot, I said, age of first home purchase in US. It says current typical age, according to National Association of Realtors, the median age of first-time home buyers in the US is about 40 years old, a record high, right? Which then when you're seeing mortgage payments be like 30 years plus, that basically means you got to be working till you're 70 to pay that home off, man. Which is crazy.
And then in the meantime, if anything happens for them prices to drop, you go into negative equity and all kind of crazy shit. This is bullshit. The whole thing is madness, and then they affect the interest rates. The whole thing is madness. It's madness, man. Inheritance, preserving families, not dynasties. The biblical inheritance rules: inheritance tied to land within tribes and families could not be permanently alienated. Even heiresses, Numbers 27 and 36, had marriage rules to keep land within tribes. The goal was to preserve many stable family lines, not maximize individual fortunes, avoid intergenerational collapse. The modern American inheritance: unlimited accumulation and transfer, estate taxes weakened over time, wealth concentrates into fewer hands. The effect: dynastic wealth forms, political influence follows wealth. Younger generations compete against inherited advantage, right? The time horizon: short versus long moral vision. The biblical economy designed for centuries, right? The biblical economy is designed for life, the continuous life, right? This is why we're seeing Esau's system collapse in on itself, right? Assumes human sin and plans around it, accepts limits on growth to preserve justice. Wealth must serve community stability. The modern American economy optimized for short-term growth, quarterly profits, generational well-being. Quarterly profits over generational well-being. Debt pushes costs. Sorry.
Yeah, so I was going to say, in the video you did the other day when you was going into, you was basically responding on that other video. Well, that's one of the things that the guy said. He was like, look, man, the problem with a lot of these companies, as long as they can basically make it look like the quarterly profits are doing good, that's actually all they care about, that quarterly report, such that, you know, investors are going to go, oh, this is great. And then now that price increases, right? They don't, and as part of that, that's why you'll get like, you know, layoffs or certain things happen around those periods of time, right? Because then it will make the books look good. Not because the company's running out of money. No, everything they do is for the sake of making the books look good for that quarterly profit report, man.
Smash, what they call it? Smash and grab, man. And
Yeah,
devils, man. Debt pushes costs into the future. Environmental and social costs externalized. Boomers benefited from cheap education, cheap housing, expanding middle class, deferred costs. Millennials inherited high asset prices, stagnant wages, massive public and private debt, and reduced upward mobility. The moral difference in one sentence: the biblical system, no generation may enrich itself by permanently impoverishing the next. The modern American system, those who get there first may keep compounding forever. And it's true. And this you're actually seeing it in real time. All right. All you gotta do is go online. Everyone's hurt. Everyone's hurt. In the UK, it's the same in the UK as it is in America, as it is in Germany, as it's the same everywhere, because it's the same system. It's the same corrupt, demonic, oppressive system, right? Which was made by these devils. It's a satanic system, and it's far and beyond away from the biblical system, which is in the scriptures, which is there. It's not hidden anywhere. But you will never hear nobody talking about it. You will never turn on Fox News, CNN, BBC News, Sky News, and hear an economist saying, well, this is the biblical economic system, and maybe we should incorporate, we should switch to that. You will never see a party running for election in America who are pushing to return to a biblical system. You will see socialism, you see capitalism, you'll never see this, because this is Satan's world, man.
Satanism,
that's all you're going to see. And that's why nothing's going to change until the Lord completely wipe this place out, and there's going to be new rulers and a new heaven and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. And in order for that to be, the people who are running the system have to be righteous, and that's never going to be Esau. Esau's the devil. He's Satan. What do you expect?
What is it?
This is why this matters. The biblical system wasn't anti-wealth or anti-market. It was anti-permanent inequality. It recognized something modern economics often ignores. Markets naturally concentrate power. Without moral and legal limits, wealth becomes extractive. Eventually, societies fracture. Many millennial frustrations mirror exactly what Jubilee laws were meant to prevent. So it's almost like the Most High knew what he was doing, right? It's almost like the Most High understands how to create a perfect society. And maybe these pale-skinned cave organisms don't have a high IQ enough to understand that, yeah, maybe you should listen to the Most High. Yeah, maybe the Most High, who created knowledge and wisdom, knows better than you, but they don't care, because they operate according to the flesh. They operate according to the lust of their flesh. So they don't care about the spirit. They don't care about the wisdom of the Most High. What they care about is satiating their lusts from second to second. That's their mindset. A beastly, unrefined, uncivilized mindset that is hidden behind the illusion of civilization, the illusion of being civilized, the illusion of being high IQ, the illusion of being white, of being perfect, the illusion of being righteous, the illusion of being ethical. This is what Esau has, an illusion. But when you get to the core of what he is, he's a demon. And the fruits speak for themselves. Right? Go on, I know you got something, and then we'll close up.
Yep, this is Sirach 14:5. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he do good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Right? Basically, he's evil to his own people. and everything like that. So it's like, how is he going to have anything for Jake? Right? That's what the scriptures talk against, leaning upon Egypt, or against leaning upon this man, because he's got nothing for us.
The only thing Esau got is a bullet or a chip. That's all Esau cares about right now for Jake. And Jake need to wake up. The good shepherd is Yahweh Shai, man. That's why you gotta buy up all the Yahweh Shai stocks, because this kingdom ain't really got nothing for us, man. Right? They got Jake out here trying to get to the bag. Esau gonna put a bag in your mouth. That's what he gonna do. And that's what's gonna happen. And that's the only thing that's gonna happen. Esau gonna put a bag in your mouth, because this place ain't for us, man. This place was for our correction. It was for our suffering, and that's what it's done. The kingdom to come, that's what's for us. And it's based upon better principles, better laws, a better spirit, which is in Yahweh Shai. Esau ain't it, man. Right, left, up, down, 3D, 4D, 5D, don't matter. Esau ain't it, man. He ain't right, man. His spirit within him is not upright.
Not right. That's right.
So all that's left for Esau to do is fulfill his wickedness. Bring death, destruction, and chips, and then get him the hell up out of here. All right. But for you Edomites, man, listen, if you weren't part of the boomer generation and you ain't rich right now, then like I said, man, you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to, whatever assets you do have, DM me. We could figure out how we could liquidate them assets and get you over to the third world. And that's the funniest thing about these Edomites. They keep talking about the third world, right? You should be going to the third world, you dummy.
Yeah, for real.
Whatever assets you got, man, you here in London struggling, bro, sell your house and move to the third world. You're gonna live like a king, because this place is about to get wrapped up. You better get what you could get now. Don't be all patriotic. I'm British, mate. Yeah, I'm a patriot, bro. First of all, Britain never even existed. Britain was a form of oppression from the English, bro. You fucking morons, man. Britain was invented to oppress the Scottish, the Welsh, and the Irish, if you didn't know. Like, that's how retarded these people are. They don't even know their own history. That's why you don't speak Gaelic, yeah? You speak English, because British is basically just English in another name. It's dominated by England.
Yep. And that's why certain of them, man, hate
don't even want to be part of Britain. Like, what are you talking about, man? All this patriotism stuff, yeah? I'm American, bro. Forget being an American. Just be an Edomite, yeah, and go wherever you can go to live the lifestyle that you need to live. Because this thing is about to be wrapped all the way up here, and then you ain't gonna have nothing at all. So go to Zimbabwe, man. You know what I'm saying? Go to Madagascar. Go listen. Go to and live like a king with 10 maids and a driver, bro. Because
for real.
Because the good times ain't coming back, man. Not for you. If you ain't already in like a billionaire in America or a multi-millionaire that you can live that lavish lifestyle, then your ass need to leave America today. That's my advice to you Edomites, because you're cooked.
That's it.
Yeah, so DM me and I'll take a 10% fee, and I'll give you you know what I'm saying? Through. All right, America, the golden age ain't coming back, man. The Bible tells you that Babylon is going into perdition, man. And that's exactly where it's heading, man. There ain't no turning it back. All right, Trump ain't doing that. That's a lie. He's not gonna create the conditions for you to achieve what the boomers achieve, because the boomers are already here and they already own everything. Like, what's he gonna do? Drop all the house prices down to nothing? Do you know what that will do to the system? Chaos. The only way this system goes out is in chaos. There's no easy fix. Okay.
Yeah.
You got sign and we close up, man.
I had something from before.
Yeah, that's a good scripture right there. Hebrews 13 and 14. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Yeah, don't be invested in this world, man. Don't. We work, we try and do the best we can. But always remember why we're here. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, this is Esau's world, and even Esau's down bad right now. Writing out 500 word tweets about why the black woman got the job and he didn't get it.
True.
Yeah, I applied for the job and I had all these qualifications and they gave it to a black woman. DEI. Fuck off, man.
For real, because it goes to show you that Esau's just the devil, because this is the life that Jake's been living. The amount of times Jake is what Jake will be told, oh, you're overqualified for the role, right? You know?
My CV. DEI. Bro, go to China, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Stop crying, man. All right. Yeah. He was out there crashing out on the internet talking about some black women. Like, get the hell out of here, man. Yeah, they hired a black woman. Poor me, I'm a straight white male. You liar, you ain't straight, man. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't straight.
It's an oxymoron.
That's why your birth rate is reversing, bro.
Yeah.
Because you Edomites have never been straight, man. Right? You love the a-hole, man. You guys are ain't got it like
nasty.
That. But yeah, man, keep crying, Esau. Keep crying. We love it, man. Keep tweeting. All right, that's it. So we'll close up on that, man. You know, Tawada for the Arkin posting on the comment boards. Lord willing, you was edifying. You were edified, and you have a better grasp of these things. You're gonna, because I'm sure you'll run into these discussions. This whole idea of the golden generation and the American dream and golden age and make America great again. This is really what it comes back to. They're trying. You got a bunch of Edomites that's lusting to have the blessing that the boomers received, but they won't. Okay, that was it. Okay, you missed it. Now you can look forward to me laughing at you, looking down at you in a pit. That's about as best as you could do. Okay, so. Kal halal Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Kal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching. Shalom to you brothers and sisters listening and learning and supporting the ministry. And Abad Babal, man. Straight up and down. Shalom.
Shalom.